That night, heavy rain poured down, drumming against the roof of Ronnie's apartment with an uneven rhythm. Her cramped room felt even colder, even though she had turned off the air conditioner since the afternoon. A small desk lamp glowed faintly, casting a dim light over a pile of books and the phone lying beside them. Ronnie had just finished watching a drama series on her laptop when her phone buzzed softly. She flinched, glancing at the clock on the wall. It was 12:37 a.m. Who would call at such an hour? She lazily reached for her phone, but her body froze the instant she saw the screen. The number flashing there made her heart skip a beat. It was her best friend's number, Dinda's. Nothing would have been strange if not for the fact that Dinda had died 2 weeks ago in a car accident on the Cipularang toll road. Ronnie had even attended the funeral, crying her eyes out by the graveside. Yet now, in the middle of the pounding rain, the name Dinda appeared clearly on her phone screen, along with the profile photo she had saved since high school. Ronnie sat frozen, her fingers trembling. She tried to swallow, but her throat was dry. The call kept ringing, vibrating on the desk, as if demanding to be answered. Could someone else be using this number? She thought. But she quickly dismissed the idea. Dinda's number had been deactivated since the accident. In fact, when Dinda's family handled the paperwork, the carrier had confirmed the number was permanently disabled. Her heart pounded violently. In the end, curiosity overpowered fear. With shaking hands, she pressed the green button. "Hello?" Ronnie's voice was faint, almost trembling. There was no reply, only faint static, like the hiss of a broken radio. Ronnie pressed the phone tighter against her ear, trying to make sure. "Hello? Who is this? Why are you using Dinda's number?" she asked again, more firmly this time, though her voice still quivered. Suddenly, she heard breathing, heavy, deep, ragged breathing, as if the caller were exhausted. The sound was so close that the hairs on Ronnie's neck stood on end. She could almost feel someone standing right behind her. "Ron?" Ronnie jerked upright. The voice was faint, hoarse, but unmistakable. It was Dinda's. The same voice that used to call her back in school. The same voice she last heard when they had lunch together at a cafe just a day before Dinda died. "Din, is that you?" Ronnie nearly screamed, her voice breaking between hope and fear. Silence. Then the breathing again, faster, heavier, and then the call ended. Ronnie stared at her dark phone screen, her body trembling violently, her hands and feet ice cold. She tried convincing herself it was just a glitch, maybe some prankster hijacking her friend's old number. But deep inside, she knew that voice hadn't been random. It was really Dinda. She tried to calm herself, taking a deep breath, then switched off her lamp. But just as she lay down, her phone buzzed again. Dinda's number. This time, Ronnie didn't answer right away. She only stared at the screen, letting the ringtone echo through the room. Yet something inside her whispered, if you don't pick up, something worse will happen. Reluctantly, she pressed the green button again. "Ron?" The voice again, clearer, more real. "Din, if this is really you, stop joking. You're already. Ronnie couldn't finish. The word dead stuck in her throat. I'm cold, Ron. It's dark here. The voice was hoarse, broken, as if carried from somewhere far away. Tears streamed down Ronnie's cheeks before she realized it. She covered her mouth with her hand, her whole body trembling. That truly was her friend's voice. There was no mistake. Din, where are you? What do you want? Ronnie begged, nearly hysterical. But before any reply came, the call dropped again. This time, her phone shut off completely, even though the battery had been at 70%. She clutched her pillow tightly, too terrified to close her eyes until dawn. Rain kept pouring, and under the sound of water, she swore she heard faint sobs, sobs that sounded just like Dinda's. The next morning, Ronnie tried to act normal. She went to work as usual at a small printing office, but her mind couldn't escape the events of last night. She wanted to tell someone, but who would believe her if she said she got a call from her dead best friend? During her lunch break, she dared herself to check her phone. Strangely, there was no call history from Dinda's number. The call log was completely empty, as if nothing had ever happened. Her heart pounded harder. She knew she hadn't imagined it. She could still remember Dinda's voice calling her name. Was she hallucinating? Or had Dinda's spirit really tried to reach out? Ronnie shook her head, refusing to think further. But that night, at exactly 12:37 a.m., her phone rang again. Dinda's number appeared once more.
Ronnie's phone on the bedside table buzzed violently again, flashing the name Dinda with the same profile picture as before. Her best friend's wide smile from their beach trip 3 years ago. The wall clock still read 12:37 a.m., exactly the same time as the night before. Ronnie stared at the screen, frozen in place. Fear gripped her, but so did a strange urge to answer. She knew that if she let it ring, the panic inside her would only grow worse. With trembling fingers, she pressed the green button. "Hello?" Her voice was barely a whisper. A few seconds of silence, then that heavy breathing returned. This time it was closer, clearer, as if someone were standing right beside her. Ronnie instinctively glanced around the room, though she knew she was alone. "Ron!" The hoarse voice called her again. "Dinda?" Ronnie's tears rolled down her cheeks uncontrollably. "If this is you, why are you calling me? You're—" She heard her best friend calling from far away as she held her phone tightly. "I'm so cold, Ron. I'm alone here. It's so dark." Ronnie covered her mouth, her shoulders trembling. "Where are you? What can I do?" Suddenly she heard something else, another sound mixed into the call. Faint weeping, low moans, a woman crying. Not just Dinda, but others, as if more than one soul lingered on the other end. The sorrowful wails sent shivers up her spine. I can't get out, Ron. It's dark, suffocating. So many are crying." Dinda's voice grew frantic. "Don't leave me here." The call ended abruptly. Ronnie screamed, throwing her phone to the floor, her body drenched in cold sweat. She collapsed to the floor, gasping for breath.
Her hands shook as she picked up the phone. The screen cracked from the fall. She checked the call history. Empty, just like before. No trace of an incoming call. "My God, what's happening to me?" she whispered. The next day, Ronnie gathered the courage to visit Dinda's mother. The house was still crowded with funeral wreaths, their scent heavy in the air. Dinda's mother greeted her with weary eyes and a tired face. "Ronnie, it's unusual for you to come by," she said softly. Ronnie hesitated before finally speaking. "Auntie, I think I heard Dinda's voice last night. She called me." Dinda's mother froze, her face turning pale. "Don't joke, dear. Dinda's number has been dead for weeks. I threw away her SIM card myself." "I'm not joking, Auntie. I heard her clearly. She said she was cold, alone in the dark. I don't understand, but I'm sure it was Dinda." Tears welled in the woman's eyes. She covered her mouth, sobbing. "When Dinda's body was prepared, it was rushed. The car had burned so badly, so much of her couldn't be saved. Maybe her soul is still restless." The words stabbed through Ronnie's heart. She felt a crushing weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. That night, Ronnie deliberately stayed awake, keeping every light in her apartment on as she waited for 12:37. She sat on her bed, her phone resting on the table, her eyes fixed on it. Right on time, the phone buzzed again. Dinda's name. This time, Ronnie answered without hesitation. "Dinda, I'm here. Tell me what you want me to do." The crying grew louder. "Ron, help me. I can't breathe." "What should I do? Tell me," Ronnie shouted in panic. The voices on the other end became chaotic, filled with muffled screams and sobs of many others. Ronnie could hear them clearly, like the sounds of people trapped together in one suffocating place. Some begged for help, others wailed, and amid the chaos, Dinda's voice grew weaker. "I'm burning, Ron." Her last words were faint before the line went dead on its own. Ronnie collapsed, her body drained of strength. And then it struck her. Maybe what Dinda felt wasn't cold after all. She remembered the news reports. The car had burst into flames. Her body burned beyond recognition. The cold and the dark were only fragments of suffering carried into death. From that night onward, the calls came every day, always at the same time, always filled with cries that grew more terrifying. Ronnie could no longer eat, sleep, or work properly. At the office, her face was pale, her eyes red from sleepless nights. When co-workers asked, she only shook her head. How could she ever explain? Until one night, the voice on the phone didn't just call her name. Another whisper slithered through, low, chilling, and definitely not Dinda's. "Your turn. It will be your turn soon." Ronnie dropped the phone instantly, her heart nearly stopping. For the first time, she realized it wasn't just Dinda calling her. Something else was with her. Something darker. Ronnie sat on the floor of her bedroom, hugging her knees tightly. Her phone lay not far away, its cracked screen faintly reflecting her pale face. The words still echoed in her mind.
Your turn. It will be your turn soon." Her body trembled, her breathing short and shallow. She was no longer sure the voices belonged only to Dinda. There was something darker, more terrifying, another presence clinging to that line, riding through the calls. Since that night, Ronnie tried to avoid it. She switched off her phone before midnight, even attempted to stay at a friend's boarding house. But strangely, every night at exactly 12:37 a.m., her phone turned itself back on, buzzing with Dinda's number on the screen. Even when she removed the SIM card, the calls still came. The first night she tried ignoring it, the phone buzzed endlessly until morning. On the second night, she refused to answer, but then the heavy breathing filled her room, though the phone was locked away inside a drawer. In the end, she gave in. On the third night, with trembling hands, she picked up the call. "Run," Dinda's weak voice whispered. "I can't leave. I'm trapped." Tears streamed down Ronnie's cheeks. "What should I do? How can I help you find peace?" But before Dinda could reply, another voice slipped in, flat, cold, whispering right into her ear. "Bring her to me, or you will take her place." Ronnie immediately ended the call, her body limp. That voice wasn't Dinda's. It was something else, something she couldn't name. The following days became a living hell. Shadows flickered at the edges of her vision. Whenever she looked in the mirror, she felt another figure looming behind her. Even at the office, while everyone was busy, the stench of something burnt, like charred flesh, haunted her. Her co-workers grew concerned. "Ronnie, you look so pale. Are you sick?" they asked. But Ronnie only shook her head, unable to explain.
Finally, she decided she had to seek answers. She visited a well-known spiritual healer in her neighborhood. At a modest house, an elderly man with white hair greeted her. "You've brought something with you," he said gravely. "The energy clinging to you is very heavy." Ronnie broke down, sobbing as she told him everything about the midnight calls, Dinda's voice, and the terrifying whispers. The man was silent for a long while before he spoke. "It is indeed your friend's spirit calling you. She is trapped, unable to leave. But there is another entity attached to her. It is using your bond to reach you. It wants you." "What should I do?" Ronnie pleaded desperately. "If you keep answering those calls, eventually it will succeed in pulling you into the same place. The only way, you must gather the courage to ask your friend what binds her. If possible, help set her free." That night, with her heart pounding, Ronnie waited once again for 12:37. Right on time, the call came. "Ran?" Dinda's voice was faint, fragile. "Dinda, listen to me. What's keeping you from leaving? Tell me," Ronnie demanded, though tears poured down her face. There was a long silence. Then Dinda whispered, I'm still on the toll road. I'm still inside the car. I'm burning." Suddenly, a long, piercing scream ripped through the call, stabbing into Ronnie's ears. She covered them instinctively, but the sound felt as though it drilled straight into her head.
Then another voice cut in, louder, furious. "Do not interfere. She belongs to me." The lights in Ronnie's room flickered violently. Her phone grew hot, almost melting in her hand. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw a tall, dark figure looming in the corner, its eyes glowing red. Ronnie screamed at the top of her lungs. The call cut off by itself. She collapsed to the floor, drenched in cold sweat. That night, she understood. It wasn't just Dinda calling her. A darker force controlled the place where Dinda was trapped. And now, that same force wanted her, too. Since that night, Ronnie never truly felt safe again. The dark shadow she'd seen in the corner of her room seemed never to fully leave. Sometimes, when she closed her eyes, she felt someone standing beside her bed, watching silently. Sometimes she woke up to the sharp smell of something burned, as if her apartment had just been engulfed in flames. But what drove her to despair most was the call. Every night, exactly at 12:37 a.m., her phone would vibrate, showing the name Dinda with that same smile, now somehow terrifying. She knew that if she left the calls unanswered, the strange occurrences would grow. Knocks at the door, footsteps in the corridor, and whispers in her ear, even when she buried her head under a pillow. So that night, with a resigned heart, Ronnie answered again. "Ron, help me." Dinda's voice sounded thinner, full of pain. "I'm still burning. I can't get out of here." Tears streamed down Ronnie's face. "Din, what do I have to do for you to be free? Tell me. I'll do anything." A long silence, only faint sobbing. Then Dinda whispered, "Come to the toll road where I died. Don't come alone. Please pull me out of here." Before Ronnie could reply, another voice slipped through, a heavy, angry voice. "Don't you dare! She's mine! If you come, you'll burn too!" The lights in Ronnie's room went out at once. Her phone screen lit by itself, showing an image she didn't recognize. Flames licking a car's windows, someone screaming inside. The cries felt so real that Ronnie screamed hysterically and threw the phone away. The next morning, bloodshot and exhausted, Ronnie told the spiritual healer she had visited before. The old man fell silent for a long moment, his face pale. "If your friend's spirit is asking you to come to the scene, perhaps something there still holds her," he said softly. "But be careful. There is a creature that rules that place. It drags the spirits of the victims, keeping them trapped in suffering." Ronnie swallowed hard. "If I go, can I survive?" The old man exhaled slowly. "If your intention is pure to help, usually those who come with good hearts are not harmed. But if that creature has already marked you, you could be pulled in too." The next night, Ronnie summoned the courage to call her older brother, Andra. She didn't tell him everything, only that she felt she needed to visit the site where Dinda had died because she hadn't found peace yet. Andra resisted at first, but finally relented when he saw his sister's pale, frightened face. "All right, tomorrow night we'll go, but don't go alone, okay?" The day crawled by. Ronnie jittered, waiting for night. At 11, they drove toward the toll road where the accident had happened. A fine rain fell, adding to the eerie mood. When the car stopped on the quiet shoulder, Ronnie's limbs trembled. 2 weeks earlier, at this spot, Dinda had died. The wreckage was gone, but the air felt strange and heavy. Ronnie got out and stared at the dark road lit only by dim streetlights. Her phone vibrated. She checked the time. 00:37 exactly. Dinda's number appeared on the screen again. With shaking hands, she answered. "I'm here, Din. I came." The voice on the other end sounded clear and full of pain. "Ran, I'm trapped. I can't get out of this car. Pull me out." Ronnie turned to the empty road, and her eyes widened. In the middle of the dark toll road, she saw a faint outline of a car on fire. Flames licking high, screams coming from inside. Her body shook violently, but her feet moved forward as if drawn toward the blaze. "Ran, what do you see?" Andra called from behind, panic in his voice. But Ronnie didn't answer. Her gaze was fixed on the burning car that grew clearer by the second. Through the flames, she saw Dinda, ashen, her body charred, half her face destroyed, but those eyes were the same, full of pleading light. "Pull me out, Ran. Don't leave me here." Ronnie reached out with trembling hands to take her friend. Suddenly, a tall black figure rose up behind Dinda, its eyes glowing red, its long hands grabbing Dinda's body and dragging her back into the fire. "She's mine! You'll come with her!" The booming voice shook Ronnie's ears. The flames flared higher. Dinda's screams mixed with many other voices, as if dozens were trapped inside the blaze. Ronnie screamed and lunged toward the fire, but Andre yanked her back hard. "Ran, it's not real! Don't!" Ronnie struggled, tears pouring. "Let me go! I have to help her! She needs me!" When she looked again, the fire had vanished. The toll road was silent once more, only the drizzle tapping on the asphalt. Ronnie collapsed into Andre's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Her phone buzzed in his hand. She stared at the screen with trembling fingers. Dinda's number again. This time she dared not answer, but the screen lit on its own, and the voice that came wasn't only from the speaker, it echoed in the air around them. "Ran, don't leave me," followed by another voice, deeper and darker. "Your turn, soon."